how are you? Welcome to my channel. I am so excited you're here today because we are going book shopping. Just gonna warn you, there are 17 books. I already know because I'm filming this intro after the book shopping. Between shopping and then there are, I think, 5 books from thrift books as well. I'm gonna throw in there for the book haul at the end. I don't do this very often. I think it was, I want to say 8 months or something like that since the last time I actually shopped for new books. Normally it's thrifting or half-price books. I actually got some new books in this video and that is so rare. I chose to treat myself and I don't have any regrets because I found some good stuff. It was really good timing. I didn't have a plan. I didn't go in looking for anything specific. I went and was spontaneous and I just got to have fun and look around and just wherever my mood took me. I'm also going to warn you, it is a very unhinged female book haul. It was very much a mood. So yeah, lots of unhinged female book trope. I am happy. I'm excited. I can't wait to read these books. I can't wait to show you what I got. Let's do some book shopping. Here we go. I think we're going to hit up Barnes & Noble and Half Price Books today. If we find any others, we'll probably hit up them too. First, we're going to be going to probably Sonic. Normally, on a February day, I would be getting hot chocolate. Not a coffee drinker, so I can't do iced coffee or anything like that. It is like 75 degrees in Texas today, so I can do hot chocolate. We don't have any trendy, fun local slushy places, so I just have to hit up Sonic and get a slushy or a shake or something. I have my little book bag. This one is from Read With Sharon Verts. Went to a book signing a while back for Sharon Verts. She's a historical fiction author and I won a little giveaway there, and this is for her book club, and she has a historical fiction book club, which I know this is a horror channel, but I read some historical fiction too. I'm taking this for my half-price book haul. Here we go. Ended up stopping at Sonic. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I hate the freaking heat, and every year I contemplate moving because I can't handle the heat. And for it to already be 75 degrees, I'm just really bummed about. We really didn't get a winter at all. I ended up getting a cherry nerd slush because we don't really have any cool local slush places. I wish we did. We have a fun local coffee place, but I'm not a coffee drinker. If I was getting hot chocolate, that's where I would have went, but whatever. And I'm really enjoying it, and it's hitting the spot since it's so freaking hot today. Yep. Here we go. Let's go on our book buying adventure. I just got out of Barnes & Noble, and I would say it was pretty successful. I ended up with 8 or 9 books. I'm still really weird about filming in public. It's just really awkward. There's always someone looking at you weird, like, what is she doing? And that might be in my head because I'm just not used to doing it. And I just film on my phone. I don't have a fancy camera yet. I do everything on my iPhone. And it's just really awkward. Everybody's just, there weren't a lot of people because I have social anxiety. I don't really go anywhere on a weekend. This is all on a weekday. It's the only time I can go in public, and I barely go in public on a weekday. So, it wasn't crazy crowded or anything. There weren't a lot of people in there, but even still, it was really awkward. And if anybody came up, I would just stop filming and then resume whenever they walked away. But, yeah, I don't know if that gets easier or not. For my YouTube friends, just let me know if that's something that gets easier, if you have any tips for me on that. My little Barnes & Noble bag. I went in there not knowing even what I was looking for, which is how I like to do it. I didn't have a list. Shopping for new books or going on like a shopping spree like this is not something I do very often at all, but it's been a really shitty month and a really shitty week. So I was just in that kind of a mood. So yeah, is this a healthy way to cope with a shitty week and a shitty month? I don't know. But nonetheless, this is how I'm dealing with it. Really excited about it. Really excited about my purchases. I don't go in public very often at all, except for maybe out to eat here and there. So it was nice. It was a treat to get out. Probably saw in the video, the Barnes & Noble that I went to is in a mall. So I hit up the food court while I was there. I had falafel, which was really good. You know, wasn't the best falafel that I've ever had, but it was really good. I put fries on mine. I don't know if that's weird or not, but I always get fries with it, and I put my fries on the falafel. It's really delicious. It was really fun. Very successful outing. Got a lot of cool stuff, and I can't wait to show you guys when I get home. So, next up is Half Price Books. Here we go. Just got out of Half Price Books. Their horror section was bigger than the last Half Price Books I went into a couple weeks ago, but the couple of gems I found were actually not in their horror section. It was in their, they have these end caps with these, it's kind of like their sci-fi section, but I actually found a couple of horror books in that section. I found one Stephen King book. I found like a pulp horror paperback that was really cool. That was in like that end cap section I was telling you guys about. I think I ended up with 5 books from there. A couple of newer ones that I've been eyeing that I wasn't sure if I would like, that I didn't know if I wanted to buy new yet or whatever. So anyways, found some cool stuff in Half Price Books. Was really excited. And everybody in that store was very helpful, like out of their way helpful. Whenever I was over there looking at their end cap plastic wrapped section, that weird sci-fi section, the book that I found that I was really eyeballing, he said, hey, let me show you something. He was pulling stuff up on his computer. He unwrapped it for me and was explaining stuff about it and was telling me about his collection. He was really cool and just was telling me about how I could look stuff up. He was awesome. And he was like, hey, if you're not sure about a book, if you see something here and you're like, I don't know if it's worth it, what you could do is you could have him hold it at the counter for 3 days while you're researching it and seeing if it's worth the price or whatever for you. And they were just above and beyond helpful at that specific store. And I've been to others and they weren't as nice and helpful. I'll be going back to that Half Price Books definitely, and their horror section was better than the other one that I went to that I was kind of disappointed about a couple weeks ago. I was very pleased with this trip. Had a great time, had a good day. Kind of exhausted. I'm headed home now because I don't think I could deal with another store today. See you in a little bit. I'm back. Made it back home and I got a bunch of good stuff. So can't wait to show you guys. I'm actually going to show you, I have my Barnes & Noble haul, I have my Half Price Books haul, and I'm going to show you guys all the stuff I got from Thrift Books in the mail. I actually ordered that stuff and I got it all before I even went on my little shopping excursion. Haven't even opened it yet. I have a whole bunch of stuff to show you. Let's start with Barnes & Noble. Some of these I hadn't even heard of yet. Y'all are just going to learn right along with me. My Sister, the Serial Killer. I'm not sure. You know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start researching how to pronounce these names before I even get on here, because it's a really big deal to me to be able to pronounce these, because names are such a, it's important to me to pronounce them correctly. Like, I don't want to get anybody's name wrong. It's really important. One sister is, I guess, continuously offing her boyfriends, and the other sister is covering for her and helping her dispose of the bodies. The one that's offing her boyfriends doesn't even care. She just keeps posting on social media like it's no big deal, and the sister is like, no, don't do that. She's keeping her sister from doing those things. No, don't post on social media. At least act like you're mourning this guy. And then at the same time, the good sister has fallen for this handsome doctor, and you know, he's asked her for her number, you know, so she has a chance with this guy, but at the same time she's dealing with her sister's, you know, murderous tendencies. It sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll see. And this one has been on my list for a long time. Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. I think that's a really pretty cover. I love that cover. 24-year-old British painter Cleo has escaped from England to New York and is still finding her place in the sleepless city. When a few months before her student visa ends, she meets Frank. Frank is 20 years old and a self-made success, and his life is full of all the excesses Cleo's lacks. He offers her the chance to be happy, the freedom to paint, and the opportunity to apply for a green card. But their impulsive marriage changes their lives, and the lives of those around them, in ways they never could have predicted. While Cleo struggles with depression and Frank with drinking, Cleo's best friend tries to embrace his gender identity in the wake of her marriage, and Frank's financially dependent sister arranges sugar daddy dates after being cut off. Ultimately, this chance meeting brings two strangers, changes everything for better or worse. I've been wanting another Murakami book since I read After Dark, so I picked this one up, and look how pretty this cover is. The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle. I hadn't heard of this one. It was either this or, was it IQ 84? In a Tokyo suburb, a young man named Toru Okada searches for his wife's missing cat, and then for his wife as well, in a netherworld beneath the city's placid surface. As these searches intersect, he encounters a bizarre group of allies and antagonists, gripping, prophetic, and suffused with comedy and menace. This is an astonishingly imaginative detective story, an account of a disintegrating marriage, and an excavation of the buried secrets from Japan's forgotten campaign in Manchuria during World War II. I love Murakami. I've only read the one After Dark, but I was obsessed with that book. It was just so interesting and just something different. Death in Her Hands by Otessa Moshfegh. Cover's different. This elderly widow finds a note in the woods, and the note just says, her name was Magda. Nobody will ever know who killed her. It wasn't me. Here is her dead body. But there's no body. So it's just a note. And she becomes obsessed with solving this mystery. She just is imagining who this Magda person is and what happened to her, and she becomes just obsessed with this person and this mystery. Big Swiss by Jen Vegan. Greta lives with her friend Sabine in an ancient Dutch farmhouse in Hudson, New York. The house is unrenovated, uninsulated, and full of bees. Greta spends her days transcribing therapy sessions for a sex coach who calls himself She becomes infatuated with his newest client, a repressed married woman she affectionately refers to as Big Swiss. Greta is fascinated by Big Swiss's refreshing attitude towards trauma. They both have dark histories, but Big Swiss chooses to remain unattached to her suffering while Greta continues to be tortured by her past. One day, Greta recognizes Big Swiss's voice in town and they quickly become enmeshed. While Big Swiss is unaware, Greta has eavesdropped on her most intimate exchanges. Greta has never been more herself with anyone. Her attraction to Big Swiss overrides her guilt, and she'll do anything to sustain this relationship. That sounds fascinating. Am I allowed to show this on YouTube? I'm not sure. Acts of Desperation by Megan Nolan. She's gonna do it. She's 23 and in love with love. He's older and the most beautiful man she's ever seen. The affair is quickly consuming, but this relationship is unpredictable, and behind his perfect looks is a mean streak. She's intent on winning him over, but neither is living up to the other's ideals. He keeps emailing his glamorous ex, and she's starting to give in to secret, shameful cravings of her own. The search for a fix is frantic and taking a dangerous turn. With unsettling, mesmerizing power, Acts of Desperation dissects one of life's most elusive mysteries. Why do we want what we want, and how do we want it? This one's been on my list forever. A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. Okay. Food writer Dorothy Daniels loves what she does. Discerning, meticulous, and very, very smart. Dorothy's clear mastery of the culinary arts makes it likely that she could, on any given night, whip up a more inspired dish than any one of the chefs she writes about. Dorothy loves sex as much as she loves food, and while she has struggled to find a long-term partner that can keep up with her, she makes the best of her single life, frequently traveling from Manhattan to Italy for a taste of both. But there is something within Dorothy that's different from everyone else, and having suppressed it long enough, she starts to embrace what makes Dorothy uniquely, terrifyingly herself. Recounting her life from a seemingly idyllic farm-to-table childhood, the heights of her career, to the moment she plunges an ice pick into a man's neck on Fire Island, Dorothy Daniels shows us what happens when a woman finally embraces her superiority. Have you noticed a trend here? There's going to be a whole, you're going to see, because it's not just this stack, because even before this, I was on an Unhinged female kick. I don't know. Maybe that was just the mood I was in. And then we have Woman Eating by Claire Coda. A young mixed-race vampire must find a way to balance her deep-seated desire to live among humans with her incessant hunger in this stunning debut novel from a writer to watch. That's all it says on the back. I had never heard of this one either. And you'll notice I'm just reading the backs of a lot of these because I didn't know much about a lot of these. I was kind of just winging life. And you'll also notice that a lot of times I don't know the newest things because I'm usually kind of behind. And I don't mind that. So Half Price Books. This one is extreme horror. I know vaguely what it's about, and I won't get into it here because it may be triggering for some people. And that is Womb by Duncan Ralston. Her Body and Other Stories by Carmen Maria Machado. It says Carmen Maria Machado blithely demolishes the borders between psychological realism and science fiction, comedy and horror, fantasy and fabulism. She bends genres to shape startling stories that map the realities of women's lives and the violence visited upon their bodies. I've heard really good things about it, and I've been wanting to read it. Stephen King, Dolores Claiborne. It's another one, building onto my Stephen King collection. This one was in really good shape. This is a little paperback. The Nebulon Horror by Hugh B. Cave. It's a little paperback. Got little blue edges. They were only children, but their evil was older than hell itself. And it goes on from there. It's based in Florida. Apparently, based on what's on the back, these are like really evil kids. And the whole evil children, evil baby, evil kid trope. Yeah, there's something really terrifying about that. I was really excited to find it. First printing, 1980. Nebulon Horror. Let me know if anybody's read this one and what you thought of it if you've read it. Now, this one I was most excited about because this one is The Feeding by Lee Clark. I don't know how well you can see it, but this is embossed. Look how cool that is. This was the one I was most excited about. This is a really cool find, and look how good. This is the best shape. There's no creasing. It's not dented. It is in excellent condition. This is one of the coolest finds I've found in a while. Copyright 1988. It's, I believe, pulp horror. In a desperate attempt to save their marriage, Robin and Matt Brenner packed up their 2 children and drove to the mountains of rural California for a much-needed vacation. They had rented a crumbling old house that sat atop an abandoned mine and hoped that the peaceful setting would calm their nerves and rekindle their love. But something evil inhabited the gloomy caverns beneath their house, something incredibly ancient and insatiably hungry. It lusted for the bodies of their children. It thirsted for their blood. It craved their flesh. It would not be denied. Have anybody read this one? Let me know. I have a little bit of stuff from thrifted books I'll show you guys. I haven't even opened it yet. It's been here for a week. I let my mail just sit. I don't know why I do that. I need to just open it as I get it. I don't know why I do this to myself. How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran. Yeah. The cover's kind of cool. I like the green. What do you do in your teenage years when you realize what your parents taught you wasn't enough? You must go out and find books and poetry and pop songs and bad heroes and build yourself. It's 1990. Johanna Morgan, 14, has shamed herself so badly on local TV that she decides that there's no point in being Johanna anymore and reinvents herself as Dolly Wilde, fast-talking, hard-drinking, gothic hero and full-time lady sex adventurer. She will save her poverty-stricken bohemian family by becoming a writer. By 16, she's smoking cigarettes, getting drunk, and working for a music paper. She's writing pornographic letters to rock stars, having all the kinds of sex with all the kinds of men, and eviscerating bands and reviews of 600 words or less. But what happens when Johanna realizes she's built Dolly with a fatal flaw? Is a box full of records, a wall full of posters, and a head full of paperbacks enough to build a girl after all? Animal by Lisa Taddeo. I'm already hooked because look at the opening line. It says, I am depraved, I hope you like me. This is another unhinged female. Joan has spent a lifetime enduring the cruelties of men, but when one of them commits a shocking act of violence in front of her, she flees New York City in search of Alice, the only person alive who can help her make sense of her past. In the sweltering hills above Los Angeles, Joan unravels a horrific event she witnessed as a child that has haunted her every waking moment, while forging the power to finally strike back. She's no longer the prey, she's the predator now, and she's gonna strike back, so kind of sounds like good for her horror. Not just unhinged female. Tripping Arcadia by Kit Mayquist. Okay, this cover, look how pretty. A propulsive and atmospheric modern gothic filled to the brim with all the splendor of the Great Gatsby and all the secrets, lies, and darkness that opulence can hide. Okay, you've got me. Med school dropout Lena is desperate for a job, any job, to help her parents, who are approaching bankruptcy after her father was injured and laid off nearly simultaneously. So when she is offered a position against all odds, working for one of Boston's most elite families, as illustrious as they are secretive, Lena knows she must accept it, no matter how bizarre the interview or how vague the job description. By day, she is assistant to the family doctor in his charge, Jonathan, the sickly, poetic, drunken heir to the family empire, who is as difficult as his illness is mysterious. By night, Lena discovers the more sinister side of the family as she works overtime at their lavish parties, helping to hide their self-destructive tendencies and trying not to fall for Jonathan's alluring sister Audrey. But when she stumbles upon the knowledge that the family patriarch is the one responsible for the ruin of her own family, Lena vows to get revenge, a poison-filled quest that leads her further into the hedonistic world than she ever bargained for, forcing her to decide how much and whom she's willing to sacrifice for payback. That sounds like a lot going on there, but it also sounds really good. My Husband by Maud Ventura. This was originally in French. It's translated. I think the cover is really pretty. Like, really pretty. It's one of my favorite covers. This is another unhinged female. In this suspenseful and darkly funny debut, a sophisticated French woman spends her life obsessing over her perfect husband, but can their marriage survive her passionate love? At 40 years old, she has an enviable life, stunning looks, a beautiful house in the suburbs, a job she likes, 2 healthy children, and most important, an ideal husband whose wealthy background allows her to transcend her own social class. After 15 years together, she is still besotted with him, but she's never quite sure whether her passion is reciprocated. Determined to keep their relationship perfect, she meticulously prepares for every encounter they have, always taking care to make her actions seem effortless. She watches him attentively, charting every mistake and punishing him accordingly to help him improve. Oh no. And she tests him, setting traps to make sure that he still loves her just as much as he did when they first met, until one day she realizes she may have gone too far. Oh my god. Yeah, that sounds really good. Those are all the books that I found today. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of them, what you thought of them, without any spoilers, please. But let me know where I should start. I'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.